I feel like you're forever about this. This is like teaching on the college level, where they have a very huge auditorium classroom. Are you back there? Are you paying attention, right? Please, first of all, welcome. Thank you for finding us this morning, for getting over to this different venue this morning. And please join me in thanking Montrose County for allowing us to use this facility while we're in this interim. So thank you, Montrose County, for the room. But then also, as a surprise to us this morning, please also thank Katie Jorgensen and Montrose County for the coffee. I know that we announced all of you last time that you need to bring your own, but Katie was really generous and had coffee delivered this morning.
Is this our permanent location?
No, our permanent location in a month will be the Cascade Hall on the CMU campus. There's a new community room that was just developed. I believe Kathy or Barbara, somebody sent you even a picture this week of the new room. So if you got that email, so that'll be exciting. We ran into a little glitch with some stuff, and so we were kind of homeless for a while. Because if you were at Casa last week, you saw all that new furniture and stuff they moved in. That room would not have held us all today. So welcome. This morning we'd like to talk about Montrose County Health and Human Services. Our speaker is Stephen Tullos. I asked him for a bio, and I'm going to tell you, I laughed when I got it. You know, with most people, you get pages and pages. This is what I got from Steve. Started my public health career in St. Louis County, served as a health officer in 4 states, master's in public policy administration. That's short to the point. So please, Mr. Tullos, come give us your wisdom.
So, it's not about me. I just sort of kind of orchestrate what goes on at Health and Human Services. But thank you for letting me come and speak to you today. I appreciate it. Do you need this?
Yeah, just pull it off.
I have real hard trouble standing still. Can you hear it all right now?
They can take it with you.
I will. Thank you. Okay, so the short bio was, like I said, it's not about me. It's about all the people who serve this county and what they do to provide services to this community. So I kind of wanted to go over, actually I was just going to go over a couple of little things, because last time I spoke at Forum 2 years ago, it was like 2 minutes, and then right at the last minute they said, oh, you need to plan on talking for about 45 minutes. Oops. So, but I possibly can. But I was going to highlight some of the lesser known services, and I will get to that. But then, I kind of go through everything we do, and we do an awful lot at Health and Human Services for this community. First of all, I want to say that there's numbers for all of the different programs, but if you call 252-5000 for any of our programs and just ask for that program, they will direct you to it. So let me figure out how to use this. It worked. Okay, Montrose County Health and Human Services is made up of 2 distinct divisions, public health and human services. And as we go through this, we'll start with public health and we'll talk about what we do there, and then we'll go to human services.
There you go.
Okay.
So, and I also want to say, just if there's a question as we go through this, go ahead and stop me and ask a question, or there'll be some time at the end to ask more questions. Public health, the major divisions in public health: environmental health, emergency preparedness, We do immunizations. You've all probably heard of our WIC program. Family planning, Kids Thrive, HCP, and that's one I want to highlight. Nurse-family partnership, and we have health education and promotion, which pretty much, is mainly trying to get out there and provide education to anybody that wants it. Right now, we've lost our staff there, so we're searching for a new one, but we'll have to figure that out. Okay, environmental health. In environmental health, we do inspections and make sure they're up to specifications on body art facilities, child care facilities. We move communicable disease. It's no longer environmental health, so sorry about that. But we do in communicable disease investigations, food safety, septic system cleaners, and lead in homes and stuff. In our food, like I said, I'm just kind of touching on this. If you have any questions, please raise your hand and just speak out. In food safety, we have over 150 licensed food service facilities in the county. We inspect those 2 to 3 times a year, depending on their complexity. And that's we could talk about just that part of it for an hour. But anyway. Question? Oh, yes, ma'am.
What is body?
Tattoos.
You do?
No, we don't do tattoos. We inspect No, we inspect the tattoo parlors to make sure that they're doing things according to regulations. We do the inspections in restaurants, schools, school cafeterias, nursing home cafeterias, any place that's serving food to the public. We have a lot of mobile food places around. We inspect those also. Even though some of those are licensed out of Mesa, so they're officially inspected there. If they come into our county, we like to lay hands on them to make sure that they're properly preparing food. Safely, I should say. Emergency preparedness. How many of y'all have been to our drive-through flu clinics? Well, at least a couple. Every year we have drive-through flu clinics where we give free flu vaccinations. Last year we did it here at the Event Center. We gave about, we had some other locations, but we gave about 2,000 flu vaccines in a day. So we set these up, it's kind of dual purpose. It helps get that flu shot out there. That's very important for all of you to make sure you get it. But also, we use it as an emergency preparedness exercise. Part of our job as public health is to make sure that if there is a disease, that we can provide help or vaccines or whatever, the pills in the most efficient and to get them to the most people that we can. So we do this as an exercise. It's carefully planned. It's a joint between us, the city, the hospital, and we've had other partners. Now, after saying that, this year we've got it planned for October the 23rd. However, vaccine is really hard to come by, so we're not sure we're going to be able to get the vaccine this year. But watch out for media. It's really kind of an interesting thing. So if we are able to have it, get the vaccine and have it, we definitely want you to come and kind of view what's going on. It's really kind of fascinating. So, any questions?
Why is vaccine insurance live this year?
I haven't had any confirmation about this, but one of the things is the vaccine companies themselves kind of messed up on their first batch. They had to start the second batch. The other thing is we have several community partners, and our community partner that we had last year was the one that ordered and got the vaccine for us, and we're very grateful for that. But they pulled out in March or April of this year as partners, and they're the ones that got the vaccine, so we were late in getting ours ordered. So, we're trying everything. Us, the hospital, are scrambling around to see if we can get this vaccine, because we really want to do this, but we're not sure. We will have some, regular, but we're not sure we'll have enough to support our ride. But stay posted. We're working on it. Immunization. Somebody asked me about, immunizations. We do childhood immunizations, as you all know, pertussis, MMRs, all those baby vaccines that you need to do. You can come to the health department and get those. We also do adult immunizations, things like polio, pneumonia, tetanus, shingles. Yeah, thank you. I heard somebody say shingles back there, but again, shingles is sort of short supply. We have like a 20-person waiting list right now. They're coming in, but be patient with us if you want to get the shingles from us. We also do foreign travel immunizations. If you're going to foreign countries, there's requirements a lot of times for different types of vaccine. Some of them are kind of very interesting. But if you know you're going to go out of the country, contact, especially South America or Africa, contact us, and with enough time so that if there's special immunizations required for that kind of travel, we have time to get them ordered and stuff, because we don't keep all of that stuff in stock. We have we do, the most common are typhoid and rabies, and we most of the time have those in stock. Any questions? Okay. This is going to be real hard to talk for 45 minutes if y'all don't ask questions, but I'll work on it. I'm sure if you have never experienced it, you've heard of the WIC program. That's a program that provide education and nutrition assistance for pregnant women and infants and young children to make sure that they get a good, healthy start as far as, food and that sort of thing. We have a certified nutrition expert, and we also do this program in Olathe and on the West End. Okay. Family planning. I kind of like to use the term women's health here because it's more than just the contraceptive services. It includes education, it includes checkup for women of childbearing ages. They get complete medical exams. And it also education about how to properly space your children and that sort of stuff. So it's pretty comprehensive. And this is one of the ones I want to kind of touch on a little bit more. It kind of goes under the Kids Thrive HCP program, but we have specialty clinics in Montrose County for things like neurology and orthopedics. We're in partnership with the Children's Hospital and so, one of the things, there are specialty clinics that we have the clinics here, and, we've been doing this for 29 years here in Montrose County. We had the same doctor come out and visit us, and we'd set up clinics for the orthopedics and occasionally neurology. But they'd come to us, we bring our, people here that, couldn't get to Denver, where the hospital is, and they do the clinics here. Now we still have doctors coming, but now we have really high-tech telemedicine equipment that connects to the hospital in Denver, so that, this is really kind of neat equipment. It's called Iron Bow, but it has equipment on it. For instance, if you want to, how the doctors sometimes stick this thing in your ear and look in your ear, our nurses here can do that, and the doctor in Denver can look at that, and it's just plain as if he's right there in the room. So, and I want to kind of point Laura Lanahan, one of our nurses that manages this program. She's the one that took it on herself to go out and get a grant to be able to get this equipment. We have set up here in our offices over on Townsend, but we also have the same equipment over at the West End so that we can do clinics over there. And we have pads that we can actually, we don't do this yet, but we've got them so that we can actually go into the homes of people that can't get into our clinics. And these are like specialty things for people, kids, their children that cannot, that don't travel well. Sometimes they need to see the doctor during the winter and can't get over to Denver. So we do these clinics about 2 to 3 times a year for these people. Any questions? Yes.
Do you have to wait till there's a clinic, or do you feel that you'd be helped right away?
Most of the time, it's wait for the clinics, but.
Stephen, would you repeat that question, please?
Oh, I'm sorry. She asked if we had to wait, if the children had to wait on the clinics, or if there was needs. But yeah, we have experimented some with, just setting up appointments and doing it on the spot. And that's kind of the idea if we manage to get into the homes, or when we start going to the homes, that will be it. We'll make an appointment with the doctor in Denver, go into the home so the doctor can do, talk to the family and the patient right there. A lot of times these people, they can't afford to go over to Denver, you have to stay, they can't afford, a lot of our clients can't afford it. Some of these children, and I just learned this is kind of fascinating. Some of these children have neurology problems that when they go over the passes, it causes seizures. Like I said, this is something I just learned. It's kind of interesting.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you limit that to just more severe cases? It doesn't seem like you could do that for everyone.
Right, yeah, no, there's specialty cases, that they have to qualify for a program and stuff. Yeah, it's not just everyone. We don't want to compete with, these are things that, that need specialists. The specialists are all on the other side of the mountain. We don't have them locally. If they're specialists on some of these things locally, they, obviously they would go there. Okay?
Now I'm ready for questions. Okay, good.
So, and the other thing, we want to use, we haven't successfully done this with this equipment yet, but we want to provide it to the community. If they have like a meeting over on the West End and can't get over there, we're talking to the mental health center about them using this equipment so that they can, provide mental health services over on the West End. So, one thing about the West End, I just wanted to mention, we have 2 staff members over there, Melissa and Deborah. Melissa is, they're exceptional people over there, and they've both taken on multiple jobs. They wear different hats, And Melissa helps us with our WICs, so we actually see some WIC patients over there, or with WIC clients and patients. She does some of the eligibility stuff over there for those people that can't get here. It's a 2-hour drive. I don't know how many of you go to the West End very often, but it's a long way over there. And we have Melissa, who is taking on child welfare, adult protective services, and our SCP program, which I'll talk a little bit more. It's one person taking on 3 programs that, again, very exceptional people that we have working over there. So we're real proud of them. Our Nurse Family Partnership Program, national program that serves first-time pregnant women. They visit, they provide, they teach parents how to be parents and how to take care of the kids and in health and safety, and they do it in the, for the most part, in the client's home. So, and then again, a very, very, neat program. Okay. Should I slow down? Am I going to make 45 minutes? Oh. Okay, this is one of the programs I want to highlight. Kind of a tiny program we just started, the Baby Me Tobacco-Free Program. This is, as you can read it, an evidence-based smoking cessation program created to reduce the burden of tobacco on the pregnant and postpartum population. There is a high incidence of smoking among young pregnant women, and so we went out and got a small grant and started this program. And I believe they asked us to do, if we would be able to do this deal. Right.
No, I used a combination of an idea that we came up with marketing.
Okay. So anyway, we did this little film that we'll show you, just a little short video and about the program. And are you going to do it, or are you going to click on? Okay, this is, like I said, this is a relatively new program. We have 17 active clients now, and we already have 1 graduate, and we've been doing this for 3 years. No.
Tina Monroe, and this is Lady Monroe. I'm happily married for almost 7 years now and have 2 other daughters as well.
Were you hesitant to start the Baby Me Tobacco-Free program?
I was hesitant the first time because I had not had kids yet and wasn't sure if I could quit or not. But with this one, I was pretty sure I didn't want to smoke anymore, and I was hooked on it.
What benefits did the Baby Me Tobacco-Free program provide to you?
A huge motivator to not want to pick up a cigarette. Even, I have friends that smoke, and I can comfortably hang out with friends now and not want to light up a cigarette. Obviously, the $25 a month in diapers is huge.
I was a smoker for 6 years before I had him entered this program.
What originally motivated you to start the program?
Overall, just the health of myself as well as the health of him. I had planned on breastfeeding, so I knew that I was going to have to make sure I was healthy to make sure he was healthy as well.
So what benefits did you to that program?
Besides the health benefits, it's been the diaper vouchers. Those really help monthly.
My name's Heather Waitress. I've been with the tobacco free since I found out I was pregnant since June. And I haven't smoked cigarettes since June. And I'm 28 weeks pregnant. And me and my husband are excited to have this little baby boy. So it's nice knowing that I have an appointment to go to and have to blow into a breathalyzer, knowing if I've had a cigarette or not. So it's been really good.
What would you say to others considering the program?
It's a really good program who doesn't want free diapers and who doesn't want to quit smoking as well.
Try it out.
Has being used tobacco-free changed your life in any way? Nice that I can breathe now.
It's changed my life in the sense that I literally do not want to smoke anymore. It's not like a temptation that I haven't.
So, and this is another program that Melissa, is this working? Okay, that Melissa helps us on the West End. This is just, she takes care of this program for us on the West End. So, any questions? Yes?
Yeah, will this include like vaping and some of the unknown hazards of vaping?
He was asking about vaping. You know, it kind of includes any tobacco project, you know, any tobacco use. If you're vaping and tobacco, this is mainly about tobacco use. Before I get started. Well, I guess that's the end of my presentation. No, you know, vaping is still such a, it's sort of a new thing. There's all kinds of research and stuff going on, and you see things about it in the media. You know, my opinion is that health officer is it's bad, don't do it. But there's still a lot of evidence gathering going on around the vaping stuff. No, this program does not include marijuana. So, although, you know, that as you know, if they come in, if that's questions asked, we would suggest strongly that they don't use marijuana anyway. But that's not part of this program. Oh, and you know, that mentioned that that's an evidence-based program. Most of our program are evidence-based. You know, that there's definite evidence that it is a good program and it does provide health benefits. Before we undertake it, we usually investigate those sort of things. This is something else I just threw in there because I'm pretty sure not very many people know that we have a child fatality review team here. It's mandated by the state, and it's a sort of a national program. I was part of this in 2 other states that I worked in. Basically, we investigate any child fatality. The team consists of public health, coroners, human services, district attorney, staff, law enforcement, emergency management, medical personnel. Anybody who is involved in the death of a child is invited to these meetings and encouraged to participate. What the purpose is we, from an expert point of view, we look at any child death that happened in our case, it's Montrose, Delta, Uray, San Miguel, Gunnison, and half of the Silver Thread Public Health District. There are 2 counties there, and I forget which one comes to us, but any death that happens here, we investigate, whether it's an automobile accident, suicide, the sudden infant death syndrome type death, but we look at every aspect of it and we make recommendations. Some of them, like one of the recommendations that came out of a recent one is a car accident somewhere up in the mountains, where they suggest putting like those rumble strips along the edge of that. Some car kind of just with kids in it went off the edge of a cliff, and there's no, if y'all have probably all been on those roads where there's no, there's like the edge of the pavement and then like a 20-foot drop. Yeah. So they, I don't know whether it'll happen. I know we're trying to get like the rumble strips along the edges of some of those roads up in the mountain.
What ages is this for?
0 to 18. So,
So Steve, that would include the teen suicides we're having?
as a matter of fact, we have a meeting coming up in October that is going to address some of those. Yes, it does. Any death, regardless of a child in these counties, we have this meeting, and again, the information is passed to the state. The state kind of collates all this information they're getting from all the different things, and it goes to the national thing. Some of the things, car seats, sort of, this was not, the final thing, but this was part of the car seat thing. They were getting so many car seat deaths, or car accidents, deaths of infants in car accidents, that it helped pass the car seat laws. So, any other questions? This is not really one of the fun things we do, but it's one of the things we have to do. So, okay, our second major division is human services. Within that division, we have child protective services, child support enforcement, eligibility, Colorado Works, child care assistance, employment first, adult protective services, and single entry point. And I kind of want to emphasize the single entry point because, again, it's another big program, very helpful, but we'll go through some of these and just kind of touch on some things. Okay, I won't talk a lot about, I won't talk a lot about the child protective services. That's sort of a whole program that we need to have. I mean, it's so involved. Our main goal when we deal with children, we investigate complaints. We deal with the legal system about these children. We plan on, or we create plans so that we can try, for instance, the parent or the person involved may have to take, drug tests to be able to get their child back, all the way up to, adoption. So we handle all of that. We have a hand in all of that. But the main goal of our Child Protective Services is to try to keep families intact. Sometimes it doesn't happen that way. A lot of times it doesn't happen that way. But we spend a lot of time and effort trying to keep families intact and children with their families. So I think that's real important.
I have a question. How rampant is that a problem in Montrose? Would you say you don't see many cases, you see a lot of cases?
We see way too many cases, and most of them, meth is involved. One thing, typically, during the summer, it really slacks off. This summer, it did not, for some reason. It usually picks up after school starts, but we had all summer long, it was, way too many. I played on a softball team, one with some of the Child Protective Services, and some of them are on call, and twice during the, he got called out, had to go investigate. And those are at night. So anyway, but like I said, this is a whole.
Statistically, how do we compare to, say, statewide in terms of these issues?
I couldn't answer that. I'm sorry. I'll try to look that up. Did you raise your hand over here? Somebody? Maybe not. Okay, our child support enforcement team, they, as it says, they ensure that all children receive financial and medical support from each parent. If you're divorced and paying child care stuff, you've dealt with these guys. So, but again, that's another whole story. Our eligibility department, they're responsible. They've got a whole bunch of federal, state, and local government programs designed to provide health coverage, food, and cash assistance to people who need it. We have, several sections within our eligibility program. Our adult eligibility, we have 11 staff. In our family eligibility, we have 10 staff. There's all kinds of, there's the medical program, Medicaid, and other medical programs, and they're all different. They all, part of the staff's duty is to make sure that people are eligible for these. As a matter of fact, we even have an investigator on staff to kind of, if there's any suspicion, we investigate to make sure that we're not giving services to somebody who doesn't deserve them. We have programs for the aged, blind, and disabled individuals. We have family Medicare. We have home care programs. You've all heard of food stamps, which now is called Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, SNAP. Politically correct, I guess. We also help through November or May. We have something called the LEAD program, which helps people with their heating that can't afford it. Again, we pay the utilities directly for those services. Questions?
the investigators that go out to people's homes, can they protect themselves? Do they carry guns? I mean, I would think they get into some very volatile situations.
So, yeah, that's constantly been a worry of mine. We do, if there's any question, we ask them not to go out by themselves. You know, if there's any, you know, some of these families we know and they know us and you know, we don't feel in danger. But if there's any question about that, one is we ask them not to go by themselves. And two, we always call the law enforcement. A lot of times they'll go out with us or meet us there, or at the very least, they know we're going to this property. And a lot of times they say, you know, they have more information about it than we do. If it's a new case, you know, they'll say, oh, don't go there until we go with you. So yeah, we're constantly, that's a worry of ours, but you know, some of these people that go out, they're tough. I'm amazed but yeah, you're right. Okay, so. Question, where? What? Oh, I'm sorry.
Is citizenship a requirement for any of these things?
Most of them.
Really?
Right, absolutely.
Please repeat that question.
Oh, I'm sorry. He asked, is citizenship required for these programs? And the answer is yes, most of them. There's a few exceptions. You know, it may not be citizenship, and it may be, you know, green card, yeah. Yeah, legal residence. Yeah.
So what happens to children whose parents are not legal?
Those are, if they're legal, those are the exceptions to what we're talking about. Now, just, you know, again, just in our WIC program, we've seen the numbers in our WIC thing go way down recently because of the fear of you know, these kids most of them are legal. They've been born in the United States, which makes them citizens. But their parents, or both parents, might not be. So they're afraid to bring the kid in because so that program's going down. But the basic answer to your question is yes, they have to be legal residents for nearly all of the programs. Now, immunizations, we will immunize a kid that's not, but that's protecting all of us, you know. So, yes, sir.
In this program, what kind of help do they actually get?
Wait, this one?
Yeah.
Oh, I hadn't got to that yet.
I'm sorry.
But that's okay. It's a good question. Okay, so TANF is a family. You have to, they get emergency food assistance. They get some, you know, sometimes emergency housing. A lot of emergency medical stuff. Well, I mean, not emergency room type stuff, but you know, they need, you know, they have a child that needs to get to the doctor, maybe a diabetic that it's not an emergency yet. So we help with medical, housing, where we can. Again, emergency food, that sort of stuff. And this TANF, I mean, this Colorado Works program, TANF money, we can use it for our child welfare department uses a lot of this money because most of the families that we deal with are TANF eligible. You know, some immunizations, not very much, but some immunizations can access this pool of funding.
Is
If-
education also
We try,
classes?
we try, education is a part of everything we do. We try to educate why are we doing it, how to not do it, that sort of stuff. So we try to educate on every single thing. Every single one of our programs is an education component. And sometimes it doesn't always happen, but we try. Yes, sir.
So you mentioned working with housing and stuff, and that brings to mind some of the issues that the city's been dealing with respect to homelessness. The city doesn't have any department or anything else to take care of homelessness. The county does. What do you view the county's responsibility in taking some of this responsibility or taking some of the criticism that the city's getting for not dealing with homelessness? Because that's directly related to health, safety, and welfare of the county.
So I agree with that, the statement about it's directly related to health, but homelessness is, I mean, it's just this very complex issue. There are a lot of people out there that choose to live that way. Now, like I said, we do occasionally, if there's a family involved, and kids especially, we use this to get them, if they come to us. This is a nationwide problem. I don't think anybody's come up with a real good solution except, one of the counties I used to work with a long time ago. Their solution was to bus them out of the county. Not really a good solution, but, so I really don't have a good answer for you. I know it's part of the conversation all the time, is how do we solve this? I mean, you have to have low-income housing available. You have to have a place that people can afford. I hate to admit this but I live in an RV at a trailer park. And some of my neighbors are people that are living in some of these RVs that they shouldn't be, that probably are not really safe. And one of in the environmental section, one of our biggest complaints recently are RVs that are set up, just all over the place. That's a big complaint, and that people, can afford those, and they're going out and, camping in places they're not supposed to be playing. So, I mean, I don't have an answer for it. I mean, it's part of the conversation.
So who are you having a conversation?
Well, all of the county, the leadership, I've been at meetings that the city's been part of, that the city and the county have been part of.
School district says there's about 65 high school students in homeless.
Yeah. Well, again, like I said, it's such a complex problem. Define homelessness. Are they living on the neighbor's couch, or are they living in the park? And I'm sorry, I'm not trying to avoid your question. I just don't have the answers to it.
Well, the county is doing some good things about, providing utility systems. I mean, that
Jim, would you take the mic? We
I'm
can't.
sorry.
So the county is providing some good things like assistance to utilities, because a lot of these families are just right on the edge of being homelessness. Anything like that helps. But I was just wondering, a lot of the things that that we're doing at a county level seems to be more reactive than proactive.
Yes, sir. Well, and she just signaled me that I've got 5 more minutes. So I skipped over some of the slides. I'll leave some cards here. Our single entry point program, I wanted to mention to you, this is a program that is designed to keep elderly and disabled people in their homes as long as possible. Again, it saves money in the long run. It's a whole lot cheaper to keep people in their homes when we're able to than it does to put them in a nursing home. So we have about 7 staff that do this. We do a complete assessment to make sure they're qualified. We make sure that, and we hook them up with all kinds of services. Like if they need a ramp, we hook them up with somebody that can build a ramp for them. If they need in-house care. We try to hook them up with that. So anyway, I just want to touch on that one real quickly. So I guess my time's up.
Okay, so let's go. Any regular questions,
Any other
since
questions?
it's on the screen? Anybody want to ask questions now that you haven't already asked?
Going once. Twice. Yes, sir.
The population of the county and the city has gone up substantially since they... You can't hear me? Oh, okay, sorry. The population of the county and the city has gone up rather dramatically. How does that relate to the budget you have for providing these kinds of services?
Well, budget is always, a bone of contention. However, we do a very good job with what we've got. And budget season's coming up. There will be some great discussions with the leadership of the county about, I want more money. They say, you've got too much. So, but yeah, it's always an issue. We do very well with what we've got.
Any other questions? Mark?
Just real quick, do you have like a handout sheet, like a resource sheet that sometimes, when people are asking for money, I don't feel comfortable just, because what's $5? But if you hand them a sheet that said, look at all these resources that you could possibly get into, that I think is more helpful than just handing them, cash.
Yeah, we do for all these various programs, and we once had one that kind of covered everything.
Well, I think something the community could give out and hand
Yeah, we will work on getting those. Like I said, there's so many programs. We have stacks of
Or just that one telephone, I call this number.
252-5000. Anytime you have a question, call that number. That will, and just ask your question, and they will transfer you to whichever program manages that.
Could you give us a rough idea of what fraction of your work is mandated, and then what fraction of your budget is supplied by state or federal government?
So, again, it sort of depends on the program. If you look at, and I kind of, all of our federal money comes through the state. So I just kind of look at it as all state money, even though a bunch of it is federal. But it's probably 80% average state money, or state and federal, 20% county. And again, it depends on the program. Some of them are 100% paid for through the state feds, and some of them are 50%, 55% paid for. And all of our human services side is kind of there's a county portion of it. Child welfare, most of it's 80-20. Eligibility, most of it's 80-20, where the county share is 20%. So.
One last question? Anybody have one?
Sorry, I'm always happy to interject. I think you all know that. So one thing that I want to mention, thanks Nancy. So Nancy is part of the Complete Count Committee. As you may be aware, the county and the nation is gearing up for our 2020 census. So the census is incredibly important because it actually ties into a lot of the funding that we receive for a lot of our programs that are federally mandated. So counting those homeless individuals, the individuals living in RVs, individuals that are, we call them hard to count. Montrose County is definitely in an area where we have individuals that a lot of our community members receive their mail through their post office boxes. So that kind of significantly decreases the chances of achieving a complete count. You will definitely hear more from us in the future in regard to census. It's a little early yet, but I wanted to mention that because it ties into not only health and human services and the money that we receive, but also into our political representation and more. So with that, we have a lot of information on our website. If you have any additional questions regarding health and human services, I'm certainly available. Erica can help in the back, or Steve will be available as well. Next program.
Stack my cards up here if you want to
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
This was very informative this morning. Thank you, Mr. Tullos. I asked Barbara to talk to you about what's happening next week.
Hi. Next week, we'll be back here in this room, for starters, thank you to the county. And there'll probably be coffee.